Hey folks, welcome. My name is Emily and this is Gently Chaotic Knits, which is generally a video podcast series where I talk about what I have been knitting and spinning and sometimes some other things like sewing and crochet, but really not very often. I am coming to you from Seattle, Washington, where I live here with my husband and our pup Norman. And it is what day? We're in December. It's December 12th, and I am a little bit under the weather, and I just feel not 100%. But this is really the only time that I can do this because I'm leaving in a couple days. I will not be back until 2025. I can't believe it. I cannot believe this year. It feels like it's gone by so fast. I know that happens every single year, but I don't know. I feel like we just started. But anyway, I do have a little bit, I'm realizing now that I have a little bit of a different background. I've got some plants back here. I guess this is the only one you can see. The others are on the floor because we have done some traveling recently and we're about to do some more traveling. We only heat one room in our house while we're gone. We don't heat it like all the way, but you know, to a high enough temperature that the plants will survive. And so I've moved all my plants into this room so that they can all live when the rest of our house gets so cold. But if we're gone for like 2 weeks, it doesn't make sense to heat our whole house. Anyway, today, this is just a normal project update video. I have some things that I have finished that I am going to share with you. And then I have some things that I'm working on, but honestly, I don't have that much to talk about. So I don't know, famous last words, but maybe it'll be a little bit shorter this time. I don't know. I never know if, like, when I'm watching a podcast episode, I don't mind it being longer. That's just more fun. More time chatting with a friend, it feels like to me. But anyway, it may be a little bit shorter today because a lot of my effort has gone into just a few projects. So I haven't been as spread and I honestly don't have any spinning to talk about. And I don't have any acquisitions to talk about either. So just some finished objects and some works in progress. I can give y'all a little bit of an update at the end just about what I've been up to generally, because I do feel like it's been a little while. I felt like I was just starting to get in a good cadence with these videos, and then I started a new job. And that was, I don't know, 6 or 7 weeks ago now, but I have not been as good with starting a new job. And the end of the year, there's always like travel and, you know, just a lot of other stuff kind of coming up. So, yeah. Anyway, I wanted to at least get one more in here before the end of the year. And then when I come back, I'm flying back home to Seattle from my holiday travel. I'll be back on January 1st. And so I do really like to do some of the year-end wrap-up videos. So I'll probably do like an everything I knit in 2024 video, or at least the garments that I knit in 2024, but I probably will not do that until after January 1st. So you can keep a lookout. I generally will post it at the end of December, I think I have in past years, but don't worry if it's early January and I haven't posted that yet. It's just because I'm not taking like all my equipment and stuff, and I'm not gonna record that video when I'm away because all my stuff is here. I guess I could record it before I leave, but there's also stuff that hopefully I'll finish before the end of the year that I have to wait till January to see if I finish it. So anyway, that will probably come in the first week or two of January. I will still plan to share that with y'all, and also I like to talk about my goals and that kind of stuff too. So we can do a check-in on how I did on 2024 goals and then set some intention for 2025. Anyway, that will probably come in the new year, along with maybe some other fun things that we'll have to wait and see. And for today, I'm just going to talk about the projects I have finished and I'm working on. Okay, I feel like this little intro has been longer than it needs to be. Maybe this won't be a shorter video because I can't stop talking. Okay. Let's start with finished objects. I'm wearing one. This is honestly where most of my effort went since my last recording. I don't remember where exactly I was on this. I think I was still on the body the last time I shared it with you. So I have finished the body, I knit the collar, I knit the sleeves, I blocked it, it's completely done. This is my Seaway pullover by Ozetta that I knit from Harrisville Daylights in the colorway Bloodshot, which is a like DK weight, 100% wool. I think it's mostly Cormo wool, which is a delight to work with. I really enjoy, and I should have done like a before and after blocking video for this one. I didn't. I wish I had thought of doing that because the transformation that this made was honestly incredible. I got really nervous toward the end of knitting this. I guess I'd knit the body and the collar, and I didn't try it on before I started knitting the first sleeve, but I knit part of the sleeve. I tried it on. I was like, I don't know about this. I'm nervous. I don't feel like it's going to turn out the way that I want it to. And then I got some really good encouragement from my friends. Keep going. It's going to be okay. This one's going to have like a huge blocking transformation. And I kind of knew that, but I was just like, I don't know. Like the neckline I was unsure about, but I finished it. So glad that I did. And I love how it turned out. I'm really, really happy. I knit a size 1, and I used a US 6 needle. I think the pattern calls for a US 8, but I got gauge, or close to gauge, with a US 6. When I was blocking it, I actually blocked more for width because I really wanted these cables to kind of relax, and I didn't want too much I wanted more positive ease. I didn't want it to be too close fitting. And so I believe that the size 1 calls for a circumference of 36 inches, like a body circumference of 36 inches. And I actually blocked mine out to 38, so only 2 extra inches. And I probably came in a little bit, so maybe it's at like 37 now maybe. But this is slightly bigger than the size 1. And I really like the fit. I think I don't like sleeves to go past my wrist at all, but I do think I maybe could have put a tiny bit more on the sleeves, which I guess I could go back and do, but this is a 4-inch cuff, so re-knitting the 4-inch cuffs. I don't know about that, maybe not. I maybe wouldn't do that, but anyway, other information about this. I don't think I made any modifications. I think I did actually do an extra half repeat on the sleeves just to get to the appropriate length. Just, I don't know, I guess my row gauge was maybe a little bit off. Otherwise, I didn't make any modifications. I can try to kind of kneel on my chair so that you can see it, the bottom of it a little bit. So this is what it looks like. I think my length is also maybe a little bit shorter. That could be because my row gauge was off, and also could be because I blocked more for width. So I think that the pattern calls for it being a little bit longer, but I actually like the length. I like where it ends up. I do tend to like to do, what is it, the millennial tuck into my jeans just in the front, but I don't know if I'll do that with this sweater as much, but it's at least a length where I don't think it's awkward if I do that. And I can do a close-up so you can see the cable pattern. How lovely. Yeah, it is very, very nice. And you can see the subtlety of you guys could probably see it before too, but you can see there's like a little bit of pink, like a reddish pink in this yarn. So that's the Daylights line from Harrisville, is a cream base, and then the different colorways just have a little bit of color mixed in, and the Bloodshot colorway has a little bit of red. So it's kind of pinkish. And you could really tell when I was blocking, like when I soaked it, it looked a lot more pink, and it dries more cream. But there's also a Nightshades line, which some of my friends and I are talking about maybe doing like a matching Nightshades knit, which I think would be so fun. But that is the same yarn but with a black base, and then like little bits of color kind of spun into it. So other thoughts. Sorry, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Maybe. Oh, feels like I need to sneeze. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep going, and I may just sneeze at some point. I'm a little bit, fortunately I feel okay, but I just like a little bit congested, and like my head feels like a little bit floaty, but I feel it still have energy, and I've been able to work and stuff, so that's good. But anyway, I'm just not, it's that time of year, it's December, and I've, you know, been around lots of different people, so anyway, it's fine. Other thoughts about this sweater, I really, really like it. I don't know if I would knit it again just because I feel like it's kind of unique. I don't need another version, but I do really like Ozetta's shapes. I really like this kind of, you know, boxy fit and like high neck. I think is nice, and so I would definitely knit more. This feels very much like my port sweater, which I knit. It's another pattern by Ozetta. It has a very similar shape, but I knit it with a very different yarn combination, so it's really nice to have the two different ones. I guess I can show you that one. I'm looking at it right over here. I'd kind of almost like forgotten about my port, and I hadn't worn it a ton until like a couple weeks ago. I pulled it out, and now I've been wearing it like not every day, but you know, once or twice a week. So this is the port. So you can see it has that same kind of neck shape. This one has like a fun ribbed detail before the drop shoulder, but you can tell the fabric is super different. So this one I knit with I actually knit with, I think, Natura Ulysse and a hand-dyed Sari alpaca lace held together. And I think I knit it at a much looser gauge because this one's bigger and a lot drapier, whereas this one I knit at a tighter gauge, and so it's, and just the quality of the yarn, it's much more kind of, like, I don't know how I would describe it. Like structured, I guess. The fabric feels like it has more stiffness and structure to it, and I really like having both. I like both of these versions of it, so I would definitely knit more Ozetta patterns of this kind of style and shape for sure, but I don't know if I would knit this specific one again, but it was really pleasant to knit. There were a lot of cables throughout, but you only do a cable row every 8 rows, and it's really not bad. I did all my cabling without a cable needle, and so that made it go a lot faster as well. So yeah, it was really not, it wasn't an unpleasant knit at all. It went fairly quickly. I took some breaks from it, but I really like how it turned out. So anyway, that is my Seaway pullover, and I don't think I have anything else to say about that. Okay, my next finished object is actually the mystery socks that I was talking about last time. And I think I'm going to go ahead and talk about them here because I don't think I'm going to post this video until close to, if not after, I give these socks to the person that I'm giving them to. But I'm just going to say here now, in case I post this before and you are my sister Hannah and I haven't given you a hand-knitted gift yet, you might want to skip ahead or like stop watching the video and wait until after I give this if you want to be surprised. But anyway, I think I'm just going to talk about it now and I'll just show them. I knit a pair of socks for my sister. So I mentioned we're traveling, or I'm traveling on Saturday. I'm leaving and going to Wisconsin because my sister is graduating, and I wanted to knit her a little graduation gift. And actually I saw this yarn, I think it was in like January or March of this year, and I knew it was really perfect, and so I bought it like really far ahead of time just because I knew I needed to get this yarn to make socks for my sister. Anyway, my sister's graduating, and her area of study and research is related to environmental science and water research, and like water, I'm probably messing this up, Hannah, so if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but she does like she does research in ponds, and my husband and I actually got to go with her and like go to the ponds with her and stuff, and it's very fun and very cool, and she's done such an amazing job, and I'm just so impressed with her and proud of her. But anyway, this yarn is from Hedgehog Fibers, and the colorway is called Pond Life, and so I had to get it. So anyway, I knit her these socks. This is what they look like, and the pattern is the DRK Everyday Socks, which I think is just a classic. It's really great for if you're giving them as a gift as well, because there's ribbing, not only, it's a 2x2 rib, but not only just around the cuff part, but also all the way around the sock. And at first I thought that would kind of bother me to have the ribbing on the bottom of the foot, but it really doesn't. And so I found that this is a good one to give as a gift just because the ribbing gives you a little bit of extra wiggle room. But Anyway, I started working on these as soon as I finished my pumpkin socks and have just been, I don't know, I feel like I finished them pretty quickly, but here is what they look like. So not only is the theming perfect for this, but also the color is perfect. My sister loves this kind of light, licheny, kind of sagey green, and then the speckles are really fun too. Some like darker green and brown speckles, and some like pink and blue in there as well, which is really nice. So anyway, I knit these socks. I finished them a few days ago and then I blocked them. I just need to trim the ends and then pack them up and I will take them to her. So yeah, I'm very pleased with how they turned out. I hope I don't know, they seem like maybe a little bit big. So hopefully they're not too big. But I don't know, they fit on the blockers nicely, and this is, I think, the right size sock blocker. So hopefully they'll be okay. I don't know. Anyway, is there anything else I need to say about this? Oh, I think this is the women's medium size. I think it's a 64 stitch size, and I knit them on a US size 0 needle. I always knit my socks on a US size 0 needle. It's a nice toe up pattern. I generally knit my socks cuff down, but I don't know, I've been doing toe up more often, and I've been doing magic loop more often, so I knit these magic loop as well. And what else do I need to say about this? Oh yeah, I said this is Hedgehog Fibers. This is their twist sock base, which is an 80/20 BFL nylon, I believe, and I think it's a 2-ply yarn, which was really nice to work with and nice for socks too. So I think they'll hold up pretty well, and yeah, I'm really happy with how they turned out. So that is my other finished object for this episode. And then the rest is just works in progress. So after I finished these socks, I cast on a new pair of socks, which I guess I can just go ahead and show now. So I cast on a pair of socks with my friend Ariel, which if you are unfamiliar, you should know Ariel from her podcast Airy Knits here on YouTube as well. And she is just such a delight. And so she also had this yarn. This is Tiny Human Knits Carols in the Snow. It's a self-striping yarn that I got last year or the year before, maybe 2 years ago. And I had just been waiting to find the right time to knit them. And then Ariel also had this yarn. And so we were like, let's knit them together. So on knit night on Monday, we cast these on together, and this is how it's going so far. This is very cute. I like how it's turning out a lot. I don't know if you can see the difference between these two stripes. The bottom one is like bluer, and the top one, like here and here, is more green. And then this contrast color came with the yarn as well. So I actually had a 50-gram sock set. So what I did is when I wound it up into a ball, I actually wound it up into 2 balls, and I just weighed them so that they're the same weight. And then I'm knitting the sock toe up, and I'm going to do an afterthought heel. So I just knit the toe in the contrast color, and then I am going to knit until I run out. I'm doing a 3x1 rib just because I find that the rib socks just fit me so much better. So yeah, I'm doing a 3x1 rib, and I'm just gonna do that until I run out. This is the current ball that I'm working from. I think I will get back to this orange stripe again, this like yellow orange stripe. And I think that's about where I will end. So I think I've done, roughly 2 repeats of the colors. I think I'll do 1 more and then I'll be done. So these will not be super long cuffs. And then I'll go back in and I'll do the afterthought heel also with the blue. I could look for another contrast color and do like an extra cuff on top in a different color, because I don't know if I'll have enough yarn to do the toe, heel, and cuff in the contrast color, and I definitely want to do the heel in a contrast color. So I could look and see, and maybe I could do the heel in something else, or I don't know, I could just look through my leftovers and maybe do that, but I'm okay with them not being super long cuffs. And we'll see once I finish also like how long they end up being. And then yeah, I have this one as just my second ball. And the way I'm doing it is like I'm not worried about the stripes being exactly aligned. Like I think the two socks will be slightly different. Like, I guess what I'm saying is for this one, I started with the dark blue as my first stripe. The other one, I will start with a different color as my first stripe. And I'll just make sure I do the same number of stripes in the sock, but otherwise I'm just gonna let them be slightly different. And I think that's fine. But I can just count the stripes. Rather, it's kind of nice. Instead of counting the rows, I'll just count the stripes. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say about this. Oh, I'm doing 64 stitches for it, and I just did like I'm not really following a pattern. I just did a standard kind of Turkish cast on, and then I did the toe, and then I'm just doing 3x1 rib until I run out, and then I'll just go back in and I'll do the afterthought heel. But these I will bring with me on my travels for good travel knitting and sock knitting, and then I will also I have my Handspun Christmas yarn that I'm going to start a pair of socks with on Christmas Eve with my pals. So I'm hoping I can finish these before then, but if not, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, other works in progress. So now that I finished Seaway, I'm directing most of my attention to another garment work in progress that this may not look that different. Oh, I just pulled a whole bunch of stitches off. Why does that always happen? I will fix these later, but I'm just gonna get them back on the needle for now. Ooh. I feel like I need a drink of water. Okay, so I've not made that much progress on this since I last showed it to you, honestly. I don't remember exactly where I was, but I am working now on the Alvar sweater by Sari Nordlund. Oh, holding it up. I just love it so much. Look at that, you guys. I love it so much. Okay, this is such a big deal to me for so many reasons, but this is the Alvar sweater by Sari Nordlund. It is a drop shoulder, all over textured pullover. And the yarn I'm using is my Handspun. So this is my first ever Handspun sweater. I'm so excited about it. The fiber I got from New York Sheep and Wool Festival in 2024. My friend Maya and I got the exact same fiber. It was from Feederbrook Farms, and it was a like pin drafted roving, so it's like a woolen prep BFL. I don't think I had like a colorway or anything. The colorway is this pinkish color. And I spun this up in the summer. I did a worsted spun, just standard 2-ply. And yeah, this is my first ever Handspun sweater. I'm really, really pleased with it. I think that when you're spinning, or maybe especially when you're plying or you're looking at the yarn afterward, I think it's really easy to get caught up in like, oh, this isn't quite perfect, or it's not perfectly consistent, or this part looks like this, or whatever, I messed up this part, whatever. But I think that now that I'm knitting it, I'm just so appreciative of what I've done, and I think all of that little tiny stuff just kind of goes away, and I'm just so proud of it. I'm so stinking proud of this yarn and this sweater, and I just love it so much. So yeah, I'm almost done with the back panel. I have to go from this marker until, you know, where my needle is 4¼ inches long. So I might check, I think I'm close to 4 inches. So I probably only need to do a little bit more. But yeah, then I will be ready to move to the front pieces, and then I would love to get joined in the round pretty soon. I'm very much behind my friend Maya on this one. She is working on it as well, and I would love to get caught up. But really, I would love to finish this one this year, because a big goal of mine for this calendar year was to spin my first sweater quantity of yarn and knit my first Handspun sweater. And so I would love to finish this before the end of the year. Also, I would love to finish it like before the holidays, because I think this would be a really nice holiday sweater. But like I said, today's December 12th, so if I wanted to knit this for like Christmas, for example, I'm really looking at like 2 more weeks. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not quite there yet, but we'll see how much knitting time I have during my travels and stuff, if I have. a lot of good knitting time, then maybe I can make good progress. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I'm really pleased with the color. I need to wind up some more skeins before I leave on Saturday so that I can bring it with me. And yeah, that's my progress on my Alvar pullover. I'm knitting size 1 and I'm using a US 4 needle. I think that US 4 needle is what was recommended. When I'm looking at this, and I think I measured, my stitch gauge is pretty close to on, but I do think my row gauges was a little bit short, so I think this will stretch vertically. And if you look at the kind of texture patterns too, I think they'll look a lot better if they just relax a little bit vertically, if they're just stretched out a little bit vertically. So I'm hoping maybe if I give it a little bit of an extra, like a little tug when I block it. And I don't know, I never know if I should be taking that into account with my measurements. Like, if I'm gonna tug it when I block it, should I be tugging it when I measure? Like, this length is supposed to be 4 1/4 inches. Should I be measuring that kind of stretched if I'm planning to stretch it? I don't know. Or should I just do it as is and then block it later? I'm not sure. I guess I'll just like make a decision and figure it out, but I guess it could stretch it and then I would be done with this part sooner. But also I think that when Maya was knitting this part, she was saying that the armhole was like a little bit shallow, so maybe I don't want to stretch it because then the armhole will be even shallower. But I guess then if I block it, it'll stretch back out. It doesn't matter. I think it'll be fine. But I can show you what my handspun looks like. I think I showed this on the last episode too, but just in case you want another close-up, there she is. What a beauty. I made this. I made this with my hands and also my wheel, but I'm very proud of it. I can't believe I did that. That's wild. Look at that. So fun. I've been so not feeling the spinning mojo, y'all. I just have been, I don't know, I want to say I've been out of it. I guess my motivation to spin has just not been there. I've only spun maybe once or twice since I last recorded an episode. I don't know, I haven't been feeling it. And I've been trying not to force it as well, because I think with all of the travel and being out of town and that kind of stuff, it's hard to get into a good rhythm with it. And I don't want to also get like really excited about my spinning and then have to leave for 2 weeks. So, like 2.5 weeks. I don't even know how long I'm going to be gone. So I'm comfortable with that. I'm okay with my spinning kind of coming and going, but I'm very hopeful that when I come back in January, I will be re-energized and I'll be like excited to be reunited with my wheel, and I'll be ready to finish up my sweater spin. I'm working on a spin for the Traveler hoodie right now, and I would really love to get that wrapped up in January. I would love that because I have other spins that I want to do that I'm really excited about as well. So yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of hoping for that. Okay. Let's see. One more work in progress I'm gonna show you. I barely worked on this, but I wanted to show it to you just because I haven't shown it in a while. I guess I showed it in the last episode because I mentioned that I wanted to bring this back. But I did put like maybe 4 rows in on my crosshatch wrap. This is a pattern by Jared Flood that I started in like maybe January or February this year, and then I completely left it through the spring and summer. But it is a 2-color brioche wrap. For the dark side, this dark gray is Rerum Natura Gilliatt in the colorway Fusaini, and I had some of this yarn left over. I knit a sweater for my husband and used this yarn, and I had some left over. And then the light side is from Spinaway Farms. I got it at New York Sheep and Wool Festival last year, and it is just their classic merino. It's just a cream sport weight. And so I am using, 2 different weights of yarn for this. I think the pattern calls for maybe, is it probably not Quarry? I don't remember. It's the 2 Brooklyn tweed yarns. I guess it's Loft and what is the other one? Shelter? To be used together. So I think you could do it with 2 of the same. I mean, it's just a 2-color brioche wrap, but I love how this is turning out. I really want to work on it, but I don't think this is a good travel project. So I put this on my neck last time and was just like, oh, this is so nice. I'm so pleased by this. I want this now. I really do, but I'm like maybe only a third of the way done. So I'm hoping, yeah, it's just not, it's too bulky and I've already done too much of it for it to be a good travel project. So what I think I'm gonna do is, actually I may start another shawl. If y'all follow me on Instagram recently, I asked for some shawl recommendations. I have a pattern I think I'm gonna use. I don't remember the name of it, but my friend Maya sent it to me a couple days ago, or yesterday maybe, and I think I'm gonna go for it. But I'm just going for something with like simple texture. I really want more neutral colored shawls because I feel like I use shawls as an opportunity to play with color, and I love that. And I love knitting the shawls, and I love how beautiful they are when they're finished. But I simply do not wear them. I don't wear the super colorful shawls because I don't feel like they go with my outfit. I don't feel like I don't know, I don't reach for them. Like, that doesn't work. That's whatever. And so I really am being very purposeful about wanting to knit things that I want to wear. So I want go-to pieces that are like neutrals that I feel really good about grabbing. And I think this is going to be one for sure, but I don't know when I'm going to finish this. And it's not a good travel project. So I think I'm going to, actually I'll pull out the yarn behind me if I can open my cabinet doors right now, and I will show y'all the yarn that I want to use for this is it this one? Yeah, okay, I have 2 skeins of this. This is from Sea Change Fibers. I think I got during Rose City Yarn Crawl a couple years ago, and this is just a 100% gray British Cormo. It's a fingering weight yarn, and it's just like a plain, this is probably getting blown out because I know my lighting is really bad right now, but it's just like a plain kind of creamy, warm gray color. And I'm just gonna knit a very classic, lightly textured, long, skinny shawl scarf type thing. And so I may skein this up and take it with me on my travels as well. But I would love to bring the crosshatch. I just think it's too big, and I have to be really economical with my space this time, like my luggage and everything. So I think for my travels, I'm gonna bring my Alvar sweater for sure, and I'm gonna bring as much yarn as I need to finish that because I'm hopefully gonna finish that. And I'm gonna bring my Carols in the Snow socks, and then I'm also gonna bring the yarn for my Christmas socks, which should be in here. Where is it? Where is my Christmas sock yarn? Oh, it's back here, sorry. Okay. I'm gonna bring my Christmas sock yarn. So if you don't remember me talking about this, my friend Maya and then also a couple of my other friends, Ariel and Megan and Katie, got the fiber too, and we all spun. It's created by LCB. The colorway I think is Vintage Christmas, and we all spun some sock yarn, and we're gonna make matching Christmas socks. So this will probably be a Christmas Eve cast on. I'm really, really pleased with how this came out. I think this is some of my best spinning I've ever done. This is a 3-ply. I think it turned out really good. I'm very, very pleased with it. So I'll bring this. I'll bring my in-progress socks. I will maybe bring one skein of this caked up for a just basic shawl, and then I'm gonna bring my Alvar pullover, and I think that's it. That's all I will bring with me on my travels. But when I get back in January, I don't know, I mean, we'll see where I'm at on the other shawl, but I think want to be finishing the crosshatch wrap. Maybe I'll be more focused on working on that because I would love to finish that in time to wear it this winter, but that would mean finishing it up pretty quickly, so that may be a little bit aggressive, but we'll see. The other thing that I'm realizing I didn't have in my notes to talk about today, that's it actually for my works in progress. I don't have anything else that I've been working on, but one thing that I've been planning out with my friends that I wanted to talk about here as well, and I realized now would probably be a good time to talk about it, is that I mentioned on here a little while ago that I'm interested in 2025 in doing a year of socks. So the plan would be to knit a pair of socks every month, and so then at the end of the year I would have knit 12 pairs of socks. And I want to work through the sock yarn that I already have in my stash because I have more than a year's worth of sock yarns in my cabinet. And we actually were trying to figure it out. I think when my friends were here for knit night a couple weeks ago, I am pretty sure I have just over 2 years worth of sock yarn. But some of my friends have less than that, and some of my friends have more than that, have like, I don't know, 5 years of sock yarn ready to go. So maybe we'll just make this an annual thing and we'll always do it. I think there's like lots of folks that do this kind of thing. Lumberstery does the Year of Socks where you get, and if you subscribe to their Year of Socks, you get a sock yarn like sock set in the mail every month. So that's really fun. And I know Jess has gone through and knit a pair of socks every month before too. So, you know, I have done close to this before. I think the most maybe I've knit in a year is like 10 or 11 pairs of socks. I haven't ever quite made it. This last year, like 2024, I think I'm gonna end up at like 9 maybe. If I finish Carols in the Snow, I think I will end up with maybe 10 then. It's like, am I at 8 right now? I think I have it actually written in one of my notebooks. Let me check really quickly. So I've done 9. My sister's socks, these were 9. But I have, yeah, if I finish the Carols in the Snow before the end of the year, I will have done 10 pairs of socks this year. So it's pretty close. So I'm almost there. But anyway, I want to do 12 pairs of socks, and I thought it would be fun to just go ahead and plan them all out at the beginning of the year so that I have them all to look forward to. So when my friends were here for knit night, we all kind of went through all my sock yarns and picked out like, oh, this would be a good one for January, this would be a good one for February, whatever. And we mapped them all out, and I can put a picture up on the screen. I'm not sure which way it will go, but this one will be my January one. So you can look, if you look at the picture, you can use this as the reference point. Whenever you see this one, that's January, and then like, I think I did 2 rows, so like that will be January, and they'll go across to February next, and then, you know, whatever, July will start below January, I think. That makes sense. Anyway, but I'm really excited about it. And I think it'll be a good way to use this sock yarn that's just been in my stash. I have a couple months that I'm planning gifts. So I think, did I write these down in my notebook already? I think in March I'm planning to knit a pair of socks for my husband. So the dark gray that you see there is for a gift. And then in April I'm planning to knit a pair of socks for my brother. He really wears his hand knit socks that I knit for him, and he, that's like the only request he's ever made to me. So I know, you know, different people, you know, just like different types of hand knit things, and so I think he really wears the socks. So anyway, I try to knit him a pair for his birthday pretty often. So I'm gonna try to do that again next year. So I think there's like an Explore Knits North Cascades National Park I'm planning to do. I guess I can tell you for each of these, if hopefully they're still up on the screen, I can tell you what each of them is. So for January, I'm going to do this one, which is my Christmas Handspun yarn. This was created by LCB Vintage Christmas. Then February is a sock set from Woolberry Fiber Co. I guess I have them all here. If you can be a little bit patient with me, I can hold them up. Also, let's see. I just had them on my desk behind my computer monitor. Oops. Oh, I knocked over my water bottle. Okay, this is a little bit chaotic because I did not plan to talk about this, and so I'm a little bit... Sorry, that was probably a weird view of me just like back here. Okay, so January was the Christmas Handspun. February I was going to do this sock set. I actually got this at the opening day of Lumberstery in their original location in Poulsbo. This is the Sandcastle sock set from Woolberry Fiber Co. Sandcastle is a colorway that was originally a partnership with La Mercerie, with Woolberry Fiber Co. and La Mercerie, and I just love this little yellow one too. I think for this one I want to do kind of like a lace floral sock. I think would be very cute. Okay, then March I said I was doing a pair of socks for my husband, and I'm gonna do just in, this is Grenoise Lamp Black, one of my favorite colors of all time. I love this one, and he also loves it, so I will do that for him. Then in, let's see, April, I'm doing these socks for my brother. I gave him last year, he asked for a pair of socks and I gave him some options and he picked one and I knit them for him. And then he was kind of undecided. There was like, it was hard for him to decide. He liked several of them and I think he liked this one a lot too. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just do this for your next one. So this is North Cascades National Park from Explore Knits, which I love. Okay, then May, I am gonna do this yarn that I picked up from a yarn shop in, I think I picked up in Chile, in Santiago, and I just love it. The speckles are like primary colors, which is very me. And I think with this one I might do, I think it'd be fun if I did primary colored heel toe cuff that kind of matched the speckles. So I did like I guess it's not really primary colored. The red is more like a dark orange, but it's like orange, dark orange, like rusty kind of color, yellow and blue. I could maybe try to match those for the heel toe and cuff. I think would be really fun. Okay, next I'm gonna do in June Sunflower from Paisley Knits. I love this colorway. My lighting I know is so bad right now. I wish you guys could actually see this, but there's some pretty like blue, yellow, cream in this. It's really nice. But yeah, I love this one. And then, oh, in July, which is my birthday month, I wanted to do a hand spun. So this is some hand spun sock yarn that I spun up a while ago. This was Union Fiber. This is just a 2-ply, and I just really like the way this color looks. So I'll do that one in July. Then August, I was gonna do this yarn from Coast to Coast Yarn Co. This is Red Panda, which is a nice cream with some speckles. I thought this was like good for a transition from summer to fall. Like it's lighter, but the speckle colors are kind of like fall colors. How pretty is that? Oh my gosh, I love that. So that will be fun for August. Then September, September I was gonna do this one that I got from a yarn shop in Edinburgh. This is so pretty. Also is not, I think, showing up perfectly because my lighting is weird, but it's just like this greeny blue, brown, almost like purpley in parts. Really fun one. This is Drake. I don't know if I'm saying that right, from Nervous Fiber, and their logo is so cute. This is like a locally dyed one in Edinburgh, I guess. Well, where is it dyed? Glasgow. It's dyed in Glasgow. And then October, I love a themed yarn, so I'm gonna do Ghost from Grenouille. You know, on theme with the spookiness. I don't know if this is focusing well, but you can see these speckles are lovely, like the dark teal speckle, and there's like some orangey ones too, which I feel like is very good and on theme for October. So I'm gonna do this one in October. November, I have this sock yarn that I actually cast on. This was gifted to me from Kremke Soul Wool. It's their sport weight alpaca sock yarn. And I started a pair of socks and I kind of had the wrong gauge and kind of messed it up, and so I need to restart. But I thought some like cozy sport weight, really soft socks would be nice for November. So I'm gonna do that in November. And then in December, I'm gonna do this Woolberry sock set that I just got in a yarn swap from my friend Sylvan. The colorway is Acadia. I guess it's like Acadia National Park. But it felt very like wintry to me. So, and I just love that bluish color too. So, and with the like cool gray creamy mini, I thought it was good for December. but it's not like a traditionally Christmas yarn, so I could swap it out, I guess. And, you know, all this is subject to change. I may change my mind. I may get new yarn. I may swap out any of these. Or I may decide, oh, I need to knit a pair of socks for someone else, for, you know, a friend or a family member, and then I might switch it out. But that's the plan for now. I don't know how well I can do it, but I do know that I'm going to be doing it with my friends, and I think that really helps in the accountability front. It makes it easier to stick with these kinds of things when I have friends cheering me on. So I know my friend Katie's going to do this, and I think Megan is going to do it as well. And then a couple of my friends don't knit socks as much, but are interested in doing like these really sweet little sock cuffs, which like just to kind of peek out of the top of their boots, which is really fun. I think Charlotte and maybe Sylvan will do that, and I think Ariel's gonna join us too, maybe for the socks, and maybe a couple of our friends like Maya are maybe gonna do like a quarterly pair of socks as well, rather than doing 12, do like 4, or do 1 every 2 months and do 6 pairs of socks. So anyway, I'm not gonna do anything, like this is not really a knit along or anything. I'm not gonna do any kind of formal thing. But if you're interested in knitting a year of socks, just know that I'm here cheering you on as well, and we'll see. Hopefully I can make it through and I can get 12 pairs of socks at the end. I guess I'm giving 2 of them as gifts. So for myself, I'll have 10 more pairs of socks at the end of the year. That's wild. I probably don't need 10 more pairs of socks, but here we are. A lot of the socks that I have already knit for myself don't fit my feet because I'm very bad at knitting socks that fit my feet, but I'm getting better. I had gauge problems and they were all too loose, and I don't know. I'm improving, but there's probably still more growth to be had. So anyway, but that's it, I think, for all the knitting updates and the plans. I talked about how I haven't been spinning much. But I think that's kind of it. I don't have, like I said, I don't have any acquisitions, really, I don't think. Unless I'm forgetting something. I haven't acquired any yarn or fiber in the last couple weeks. But I was going to give just like a brief life update. Thank you all so much for your kind comments about wisdom teeth removal. Because oh my gosh, I just got freaked out. What if I put my camera on the wrong setting again and I'm not recording audio? How can I tell that? Is that I don't know if y'all remember from last time I had my camera on the wrong setting. Give me 1 second. We're all good. We were on the right setting. Everything's fine. Anyway, what was I talking about? What was I just talking about? Oh, everyone was so nice about my wisdom teeth removal. I will say I did kind of go through it a little bit. I think that, you know, I didn't want to hear any scary stories of like it going horribly for people right before I went in, but I did tell you all like, only tell me good things that happen with your wisdom teeth. And then everyone had these just like great stories, and it's like, oh, it's so easy, no problem. So I went in and I was like, I'm gonna be totally fine. It was fine, but it was still, you know, painful, and there was like significant recovery and stuff. I don't know, I still feel like my cheeks are kind of puffy. But anyway, this was, I guess it's been 3 weeks now since I had them taken out. Wow, has it been 3 weeks since I uploaded a video? That's wild. I feel like I expected to accomplish more in 3 weeks, but anyway, it's fine. We're not going through that right now. I got the wisdom teeth out. I went under general anesthesia. I had 3, if you don't remember, I had 3 teeth taken out. My bottom one on this side is still in there, but both my top ones and the bottom one on this side were taken out. The top ones were honestly not bad at all. I didn't experience a ton of pain or discomfort after coming out of anesthesia there. The bottom one on this side, it seems like was a little trickier, and the oral surgeon actually told me this one was a little bit harder for them to get out. And so I did experience quite a bit of pain and discomfort in that area, and so it took a while of like taking pain medication and stuff to get through that. After about a week, I would say the pain and the discomfort was gone, but Then the problem became that I could not open my mouth very far. So they had on the like recovery sheet that you should at least be able to open your mouth 3 fingers with. And starting on like day 3 or so after my surgery, I was like 2 fingers or less. And that lasted until, you know, that kept going. And now I still cannot open my mouth fully, but I can at least open it 3 fingers. But when you can only open your mouth like 2 fingers, it's really hard to eat. I had a lot of trouble just like getting food properly into my mouth. Things that you probably take for granted, like I couldn't eat a sandwich because even a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with just normal bread, I could not eat because it was too tall. I could not fit it into my mouth. So I had to deconstruct my sandwich and eat them 1/2 at a time, like alternating bites between the peanut butter and the jelly side. And I had to just like cut all my food up really small. And so I was going to talk about some of our travel too. Over Thanksgiving, like the weekend after Thanksgiving, we went on a weekend trip to Leavenworth, which is a Bavarian town here in Washington, a few hours outside of Seattle. And it was so lovely. We had a great time. But one of the things is like you go there to eat like the bratwurst, you know, like the sausage, and I had to cut my bratwurst into like tiny pieces so that I could fit it into my mouth, which is like, I don't know, it's just very annoying. But it is slowly getting better. Like I said, now I can open my mouth at least 3 fingers, so I will not do a like a demo for you here of my mouth opening because I feel like that's a weird thing to do. But anyway, I am getting better now. I don't feel pain and discomfort. I can open my mouth more. I do think it's getting better. It feels weird when I yawn because I still can't open my mouth all the way, but we're hanging in there. But I just wanted to thank everyone for all their kind messages about that. I have survived. But I think also since I'm 28 and most people get their wisdom teeth out when they're much younger, I had like a follow-up appointment with the oral surgeon. It's like, I still can't open my mouth. What's going on? This was like harder than I thought it was going to be. And he was like, yeah, you're kind of old. Like, your body's just not as good at healing as like 15 and 16-year-olds. It's like, I understand that. That makes sense, but I don't feel like I'm that old. Like, my body should still heal properly at 28. I don't know. But anyway, if you are waiting to get your wisdom teeth out for any reason, I would say go ahead and do it because apparently the older you get, the less good you are at healing. So that makes sense, but go for it. But yeah, other than wisdom teeth, I mentioned I've been at my job for like 6 or 7 weeks. Everything is going really well there. I actually had some work travel where I got to, my company is fully remote, so I got to meet all my coworkers in person for the first time this last weekend. So that was really fun. And then I mentioned we went to Leavenworth for Thanksgiving, and that was fun too. We got to see some reindeer. We went to a reindeer farm, which was really fun. We went snowshoeing, and it was gorgeous. Maybe I'll try to put some pictures up as I'm talking about this as well so you can see some of that. And then, like I mentioned earlier too, now just back home for less than a week. And then Saturday, I'm headed to Wisconsin. And I'll be there for about a week. I'll just be working from there. And then I am headed from there straight to Oklahoma, which is where most of my family is. And we will do the holidays in Oklahoma. And then I will come back here to Seattle January 1st. So yeah, the year, I don't know, I feel like it's really accelerated. We're almost done, but we're all doing our best. And so I feel good about the knitting and crafting I did this year. Like I mentioned, I'll probably do more of like a wrap-up video and maybe a looking forward video in early January, so y'all can keep an eye out for that. If there's any other, you know, types of videos or things specifically you'd like to hear from me, please let me know. And otherwise, I'm gonna call it for today. My mouth and this whole area needs a rest from talking. So, and it's getting quite dark. The lighting has not been the best today, and I think it's progressively getting worse. So Anyway, I'm gonna call it, but I will talk to y'all in the new year. Thank you so much for, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, I just really appreciate y'all coming in and hanging out with me. It feels good to know that we're kind of at least somewhat together in virtual community. And yeah, I hope you had a great year, and I hope you have a great next year. And I hope you do lots of knitting, and I hope you watch lots of baseball, and I hope you have a great week, couple weeks, everything. I hope every future time span for you is excellent, and I will talk to you later. Bye.